I too have returned. All right. Seems like you're really not a fan of those sand soldier things.
Look, I just don't like being targeted, man.
Fair.
Like, nothing feels worse than when you're playing as a support and like somebody just runs at you.
Mm-hmm. True.
So I just have like support PTSD.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty fair. Me as well.
And this is not really the same, but also it feels like it, you know?
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
clear parallel to me.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Welcome back. I don't know if I...
I'm also here.
Okay. Me too.
Oh well, if Connor's here, I'll be right back.
Okay. So, you guys are back at the gates of Eden. You're entering Eden, and it's like nighttime. So, where is your first destination? What's the plan?
Eve wants to go see her father.
Okay. Would you? Let's see. Do you invite anyone, particularly Seth, to come with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Seth, I don't know about the rest of the party.
Sure.
Eve wants to. Hold on, I'm gonna go take a piss real quick.
I will say that Solace doesn't necessarily he's not supernatural, like I don't think he would want to go see Eve's father.
Right.
Yeah.
There's
see,
no
I-
reason.
yeah.
There's no reason for him to go. So
I
he
get-
just wouldn't.
The impression that Eve would want it to be a more private thing this time anyway, but that's just my assumption. I could be wrong. We'll see when Gino gets back.
What's the name of the bar we usually stay
Alright, I'm back.
at?
Welcome back. The usual, so the high-end bar is like Cavil and Caveat.
I think that's not where Ludwig stays for sure.
So the gatehouse is the one on the west
Yeah.
side, which is the place where we first saw Eve and Sonus hanging out, and that's kind of like the it's more of the like middle class bar, the working class bar.
Okay.
Slash sometimes merchants stop there because they do a lot of business there. So
Gotcha. Ludwig would, if we're just waiting, he would book a room there, go up, go out the window, and go across the street to a different bar and get a room
Sure.
there
yeah,
under a different name.
yeah. So you check in at the gatehouse, and then you re-check in at I'm gonna say the Black Anvil.
Mhm.
Solace just like follows you and is like, if would you feel safer
How?
amongst my people?
I'm assuming you follow him to the gatehouse, and probably catch that he's nervous, as
Yeah.
opposed to you follow him to his room and out the window.
See, you just see him hoofing it down the alleyway.
Yeah, no, like it's just like he's like there. I'm like, I don't know where I'm going, but like
Yeah.
I just
You're
assume
just-
that like Solace has like this like weird supernatural sense, but also like literally.
Yeah, Ludwig's
Ludwig
not
has
really
been on
that hard
edge.
to figure out.
Ludwig
yeah.
has been
Yeah.
on edge since we've like dealt with Salamander, so he's just like,
Right. And every time you guys are in town and Ludwig is nervous, he goes and just does weird shit. Like
I mean, yeah.
he wanders around, tries to like lose whoever's tailing him when there's no one tailing him.
The paranoia runs
Yeah.
deep.
So yeah, I imagine that you're accompanying him to that side of town. So Eve, I was telling these guys that I feel like Eve would want the visit to her father to be more of a private / family thing this time. But if I'm wrong,
Basically, yeah.
yeah, okay, all right. So we'll have a scene there. Sure. And Sonus, what are you? Are you just heading to? Do you tag along with Solus and Ludwig, or do you go to Cabal and Gaviot and say it's on Eve's tab?
Yeah, I think Sonus would tag along with
Okay.
with Ludwig and Solus for now.
So Ludwig, I don't know how much you're trying to sneak off away from the party, but they're just like, well, got nothing to do, and they follow you as you're nervously hatching this plan to,
Yeah.
like, plant
Okay,
Ludwig.
that can absolutely be like a they'd probably see Ludwig be like, oh, here's a good idea. They'd rush out and then be like, oh, yeah, we can go to your families. That's actually pretty good too. I'm still going to make a second reservation because I think that's gonna throw them off the scent. Kind of a triple bluff.
Yeah.
We're all pretty smelly. It'd be really hard to throw anybody off anybody's scent.
Oh,
Oh
yes, that's
no,
a
I
good
get him.
point.
He has to get a room for 11.
He's gonna pop one of the infiltrator elixirs and just look like the little the little German boy again.
Yeah, okay. Baller. Do you climb out the window of the second inn, is my question.
I mean, yeah, probably.
Okay. So, Solus and Sonus here, sitting in the street, waiting for Ludwig to throw them off the scent, and then he returns looking like the alternative Ludwig German child.
Okay, let's go. Don't look suspicious. Come on.
All right.
Also, Dallin, how do I upload custom tokens?
You should. Okay, so on your character sheet, there's like an image thing on the very bottom left. You have to like scroll the left side of the character sheet down to do it. Oh wait,
Okay.
that's not where it is. I'm wrong. On the character tab, there's a big
Okay.
ol' face and a hood, and you click that, and then you go to My Assets Library, and then you click Upload to like upload a file from your computer, and then
Gotcha,
you can use
gotcha.
that. Yeah.
Access unauthorized.
Fuck, I have a module that's supposed to make it authorized, but, alright, the alternative is you send it to me and I'll handle it.
Alright, cool. Done.
Alright, cool. So then I think we'll, like, jump to Eve's meeting with her father, if that's cool with everyone. So, you and Seth's still on his horse and you walking, are headed off towards the Milo estate. Cool. All right, I'll grab that.
It's kind of like, she's still prattling on different stories, like, oh, and then Ludwig, he fed them the wolfsbane, and this is a guy who wanted to spare everybody. I mean, everybody. If there was a serial killer in the middle of Eden, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, I don't know. I think we should save him. He can be rehabilitated."
Seth?
That's me doing Eve's accent, doing Ludwig's accent.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Seth,
He's
Seth
evil.
chuckles.
He has to be saved. He's not mean. He's misunderstood.
He can be rehabilitated.
We could.
Yeah,
fix him.
I'm a goblin. I like to roll in mud.
That's just added on the end.
Yes.
Seth, Seth laughs. He's like, well, it's good to have the variety of priorities in an adventuring party like yours. Keeps everyone from veering too far off in one direction or another. Although, he laughs. He's like, it is pretty vicious. Wolfsbane is... He shakes his head.
Seth, I have a question for you. Before we meet with Father, let's say you killed Salamander. and you had no intention of sitting on the throne, who would you give the head to?
His eyes go wide, and he looks at you, and kind of gets his expression under control. He's like, well, not father.
And why's that?
I think he would be. I think he would take it. I don't think he would be a happy man for it. I don't. And just aside from that, I think the general populace would be quite upset if someone from the council was given the crown. He shakes his head. He's like, I wouldn't recommend it.
I didn't plan on it. I'm a little wary of the council myself.
And while Father's my favorite member of the council, that rule extends to him. The people would be quite upset.
Well, you know that's going to be your seat someday.
Yeah. He tenses a little bit. It's like, yeah, someday. Father's got quite a few years left in him, I think. Not,
Quite a few is a bit of an understatement.
not looking forward to being cooped up in an office here in Eden. As much as I like the city, the freedom of, well, to put it lightly, I get to kind of do whatever I want right now.
I imagine around this time we're kind of like rolling up on the estate.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think once you're getting to the door, he's like, like, this conversation is not something you probably want to continue, like, inside the walls, because, like, anything, if any servant hears any part of it, they're just gonna snitch. They're gonna, like, relay what they hear. So he just kind of, as you're at the door, at the gates, he looks at you and he's like, I could give you an endless list of who not to give it to. Name off nearly everyone I know in Eden. The correct person to give it to is a harder question.
Well, if you had 5 seconds to determine it, who would you give it to?
Well, you know the inn by the council building?
Yes,
South
I
a little
do.
bit. Pleasant place. Good waffles.
Never had their waffles.
I don't remember
Probably had
the...
their wine a few times.
Their wine is serviceable. Well, the lady who runs it is perhaps the one truly good soul in Eden.
Eve thinks about this and looks at me like, you'd give it to a commoner?
Oh, I think she'd hate me for it, but, he shrugs.
It'd be strange with somebody with no money. How do you think they would rule? They don't understand what it's like to be rich.
At least they'd be frugal. And hey, you said you had 5 seconds to make the decision. What?
Got
Not
him.
going to be the best decision possible with 5 seconds, and then like the gates open and he starts to, he, like, hops down his horse and like passes it to one of the servants inside.
And I imagine Eve, like, if her father's around, hugs her father and says, "Oh, Daddy, I need to go take a shower, or I need to go take a bath."
Yeah,
Ugh.
he's probably like walking down the path, and you run up to him. And,
I'll be right back.
it's like, very well. Dinner's
Oh, but I have
Dinner
some
can
very
wait.
exciting news. I don't know what you've heard and haven't heard, but well, I won't spoil it.
well, you've traveled too fast to take any baths. Then I presume you've traveled faster than the word.
Now, don't spoil it. We'll talk about it over dinner.
You know,
And
it's-
Eve will go take a bath if you want to pan back the rest of the party.
Yeah, so, you guys are probably, like, exiting the south gates by now. Well, actually, so, one thing that happens, you leave the inn, and Ludwig, probably much to your ire, you're passing by this blacksmith who's, like, shouting just, like, advertisements, basically, to just passerbys, basically just hawking his shop now that it's like closed up for the day. And he kind of he spots you guys, and he walks up to you, Solus in particular. And this is the blacksmith where you like met with the prince. And he kind of walks up to you and he's like, "Excuse me, good sirs, I would may I bother you for a brief conversation about my blacksmith? I believe you had some work done there recently. You stopped by, yes?"
I wasn't there.
Oh shit.
That was Sonus.
Sonus then. Sonus. This is Sonus. I forgot that Solus wasn't there. That's wild. Okay. So Sonus, yeah, this blacksmith
Yes,
comes up to
because
you.
remember we went for 20 minutes of like, can you do this? I don't think you can. And the blacksmith was like, I can do it.
No, not that. Not the Golemry guy. The guy where you met
This.
the prince.
Oh,
Where you stopped
that
and talked
guy.
to the prince.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was there. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I
yeah.
I thought the Golemry guy was also another blacksmith. That was my understanding.
He's a golem smith.
Okay.
Very different. So yeah, no, this is the blacksmith. You guys technically like very briefly saw him. He like was standing there working. You guys walked in. He said the prince is in the back and then left. So like you didn't interact with him too much. But yeah, he walks right up to you and he says these things, trying to be somewhat subtle.
Yes, I had business here.
Yes. I believe you discussed a deal of sorts with one of my associates. How are you still considering it?
We didn't come to a deal.
You decided against it. Very well. And he looks kind of.
I don't know what your friend told you, but there was never a deal made.
Nods and he says, "My mistake. Then clearly. Very well. Have a good day, and please stop by if you ever need any armor work done." And he'll leave you alone, looking a little nervous.
Be safe out there. It's dangerous times.
Yeah, he turns and he'll bow respectfully. All right, and then yeah, you guys are free to carry on your way after being briefly harassed. And
By the way, Ludwig, you are taking a bath.
What?
You and Blevin. I can smell you from all the way back there.
Oh, that's actually probably something I've been working on.
Of course. And then yeah, I think you arrive like in your family's kind of area before too long. Is this like the actual festival grounds or?
No, it's probably like towards the back where nobody goes.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Because there's probably like a really crowded street, and then like basically on the other side of that is where people live.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so yeah, you head there, and like Solus gets, I think just gets his passive wave of like, the children aren't out right now, but like a lot of people say hi and greet you in the streets, which again may or may not make Ludwig uncomfortable, but yeah, and you make your way to yeah, where your family's residences are.
Also, Ben Griff is living in my house.
Oh, okay, yeah, I forgot about that.
I just wanted to remind you that I offered him my home.
Yeah. Thank you for the reminder. That's important. Very well. Yeah, no problem. So yeah, you arrive at your home and you like, Ludwig, did you tell Ben like when exactly you were getting back, or did you just kind of send the other
I
message?
think he just sent it. I don't think he would have told them exactly because he wasn't quite sure when.
Okay, so yeah, I think he is relaxing on you know some very comfortable chair in your home if you have such a thing, and then like when the door starts to open, he like hops
my
up.
My house is made out of magical cloth.
Okay, all right.
My entire house is a comfortable chair.
Good. So yeah, he is making himself very comfortable in your house, and like you start to walk in, and he jumps up and like he's like right in the first main room, so he like looks surprised and then settles down quickly. And he's like, "Oh, you're all well. Welcome back to town. I didn't realize. I didn't realize you were."
Lock the door.
You
I
did.
just walked
You did.
in.
I just arrived myself. I apologize. And he like
What
sways a
color
little
are
bit.
Fenris' eyes?
A little red.
Are they brown?
Oh, are they? No, I think they're green if I remember right.
Okay, it's not him.
But yeah, as you approach, he's been like drinking a little bit.
Have a good time?
Yes, your house was very comfortable, and I had a great time.
Were there any unexpected visitors?
Here,
It's
I don't know what an expected
It's
visitor
okay.
is. You get many visitors.
oh, that's true. Well, I suppose I couldn't tell you what an unexpected visitor is. There really is no such thing in this ward.
That's wise, he says, and he points his finger at you and he leans forward and he like almost loses his balance.
Oh, there.
I'm going to sit back down.
That's wise.
He nods at you appreciatively.
Did anything crazy happen here while we were gone? I mean, in Eden,
it's-
not at my house.
Oh, then definitely. It's been rather boring. There have been a couple more riots, nothing like the last time you were in town, and the investigator investigating the death of the councilman, the merchant guild head, he has come to no conclusions, and he thinks, I saw a very good show. Your family is very good.
Solace tries to think about like what show.
Yeah, I guess they were organizing some, like kind of a play about.
It's like a.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So you're talking about the one where it's like the party of adventurers goes and kills salamander play.
Yeah, the proto play of what will be written now that you guys have
Right.
actually killed salamander.
Well, I'm glad you saw. I'm glad you appreciated it. It's art has a strange place in this city. It is neither much appreciated, but it is perhaps one of the greatest things we have.
He nods. He's like, yes, definitely. I love it.
I just imagine that like Ben Griff when he's drunk is just like absolutely the most supportive.
Yeah,
I love you so much.
that definitely seems to be the case. He's very enthusiastic about everything. So I heard, actually, Ludwig, you sent him a message saying that did you send him a message saying you killed Salamander? Or was it literally just, like,
I would have assumed we would have sent those. I mean,
okay, I was like,
fair,
Just a text.
but yeah.
Got
Okay.
him.
yeah, got him. Okay, yeah. So he's like, I heard you managed to kill Salamander.
Oh yeah, it took us 2 tries.
2? He looks
Yes.
at Sonus and Ludwig, and
Well,
Hey,
I
looks
guess
back.
technically it took us.
Ludwig, your face like melted off by now, right?
Yeah, I would have.
Yeah,
It's only
okay.
10 minutes.
Okay, yeah. So he like looks between the rest of you. It's like, that's
Oh, the others are alive.
oh yes, good.
Or Eve, I guess. Eve is alive because Eve is the only other. But Eve is alive. Don't worry about her.
Yeah. Okay.
Though she almost did get squashed like a cockroach.
Oh my.
She had a pretty big chunk bitten out of her.
Oh. I'm glad she's all right.
Yeah,
Um.
she's fine. She learned some lessons. It's all good.
Good, good.
Did you have any luck while you were here?
Yeah, his eyes go wide and he points at you.
Wink.
He's like, yes! Yes,
Wink.
and he like,
Keep it on the down low. I want it to be a surprise.
oh, okay, well, yes. And he like stands up and, again, like struggles to maintain balance for a moment. He's like, whoa, all right. And he
That's a surprise.
walks over to the other side of the room, picks up
Is he
picks up
withdrawn?
his bag. Yes, yes, yes. He picks up his bag, walks back to where he was, sits down, and opens it up, and like he pulls out just kind of like an envelope basically, and hands it to Ludwig.
Thank you. When are these going out?
Oh well, need your approval, and then they will be printed en masse.
Are these
Excellent.
those ridiculous pamphlets I heard about you guys?
Are the
A rough draft. Don't worry too much about it.
so this is just like his like face lights up and he's like, what?
Don't ruin the surprise, please.
It's very good work.
I trust you. I'm looking forward to looking at this.
This is the most harebrained idea you've ever had.
That's not true, and you know it.
What other crazy hair?
Sorry, go ahead.
You did not put yourself in the mouth of that giant amphibian.
What? I mean, not that.
You did.
Nah.
Okay, this is the second most harebrained idea you've ever had.
Again, you know that's not true. I have many daring ideas.
Flashback
you
to
actually
the
do?
elemental being created on the
Oh
beach.
my god! Yeah, like
Flashback to I'm
My
going
brain.
to own the werewolf curse.
Still not cured.
Uh-huh.
Hashtag still not cured.
Uh-huh. It's fine. It's all fine. Got another...
Is lycanthropy considered a disease?
Depends on who you ask.
question mark? Yes.
I'm asking according to the actual game.
According to the game, it's a curse.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
fuck
it's like
the
a
overlord
bacterial curse, you know?
Yeah.
disease. It's a curse of science.
Exactly.
You know what? You're probably right. This is probably not even remotely close.
Yeah, see? There we go. Therefore, it's a good idea.
I think
And
it's very
I
good.
admit, my ideas have their track record's okay.
Yes. And more marketing is more people who hire your grand adventuring company and more
See,
money in your
Ben
pockets.
Gets it?
Mm.
Yeah, Ben's on
Our
board.
grand adventuring company of 4 people.
Yes.
We're
Well,
called
yeah,
the God
right
Slayers. We're now 2 for 2.
Look, I know people, and
Oh no, we're gonna run out gods to slay.
oh no, it won't be a problem. They're making all of them, like all the time. No, I've got some friends that I could call now that we're making some money. Maybe bring in some new interesting folks. Keep us on our toes.
Oh. When are we gonna bring up discussing?
Tomorrow, yeah, let's talk about it tomorrow.
We should definitely do that before
Yeah.
Eve gets. Mm. I do believe that she won't make a rash decision until she discusses it with us.
Oh no, it's okay. We've already talked about that. She's not going to give it to anyone. She's going to keep it and safe.
She's just not going to give it away.
Are you kidding? Have you seen how she is with treasure?
Fair point. Fair point.
Well, I only need it to get onto the throne. She can have it back afterwards.
I don't think she's gonna run off with it.
Although my Baba would absolutely love to have it in her house.
True. True, though.
Oh. Solus just like runs out and like does the sigil on the door and just locks them in his house.
See,
Because
you
he has
guys.
to go give the skull to his baba.
Oh, yeah, okay. So he, like, everyone turns and, like, looks at the door slam shut. And, yeah, Ben looks back at you guys. He's like,
Ben knows the sigil to unlock the door.
Oh, okay, got you. I wonder if he will be dexterous enough to do it. Looks back at you guys and he's like, so find any good?
Do you have any more of that drink? I think we've earned the rest.
Yeah, the last image is him just like stumbling, like rolling to the other side of the couch clumsily and like pulling out a bottle, and then we'll like jump to Eve.
Yeah. I guess Eve is just like brushing her hair in like the mirror, like looks at the pendant that's on the dresser,
Yeah.
like just says to herself, "I wonder what you would have done with it." Oh right, probably just kept it.
That's very good.
It's so grim, but also so funny. I wonder what you would have done if you had all this responsibility. Oh, wait a minute.
You did.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
All right. And she's gonna go downstairs for dinner.
All right, yeah. So you walk in, and Seth is already like. Seth and your father are already sitting at like one end of the table, like discussing just random military and town stuff. I think maybe he's telling him about like Burning Man.
I guess like, do I pick up on the fact that he's like talking specifically about Burning Man?
Yeah.
Oh right. Oh, Father, you should have been there. You should have seen the look on his face when I stabbed him with my rapier. I almost got the killing blow too, but brass that glory hog.
He does seem adept at gathering glory for himself. It's kind of annoying, really.
Well, I guess now's as good a time as any to let you know that he won't be the one sitting on the throne.
His eyes go a little wide, and he like looks at Seth, and Seth is just like a grin, just like at a kind of can't hold the grin back, saying, your father's reaction seems he did not spill the beans. Oh,
Seth, you hadn't told him yet.
I think he laughs and he looks at you and he's like, I wouldn't do that to you. And he like
Oh,
touches his.
you are notoriously bad at keeping secrets.
But no, you're right. And yeah, father kind of like leans against the table and like interlocks his fingers and like leans his head on them and kind of studies you for a minute. He's like, oh, that is very impressive. Congratulations on your victory, of course. Good job. I'm glad you made it back safely. Well,
I'm gonna like lift up my tunic a little bit.
oh, and yeah.
He got a pretty big piece of me the first time around.
His eyes go wide and he's like, oh my, the first time.
Yeah, that's a long story.
Well,
But I'm sure you heard about the harpy that we brought in.
yes, I've heard some murmurings of it. That word traveled rather quickly. They're not seen in town much, but walking in with the councilman's daughter is a good
I
way
also
to...
invited them.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So
Yeah,
y'all told the guards what was up when you entered. Yeah, it's like walking in with a Milo and an Abishin is a good way to secure some friendly behavior.
that harpy's going to sit on the council. So,
I think he was starting to reach for a drink. He like lifted up a wine cup and then just like turned to you and like sets his wine back down.
you might want to introduce yourself tomorrow. Seems you're going to be working with her.
He is truly stunned for a long moment.
When we find out that Eve's dad is the racist father,
What are
you
your
both
intentions with my
sad?
daughter?
I'm just gonna talk to him. I'm just gonna talk to him.
Yeah, he's takes a moment to process that. He's like, very well. Even if you become the emperor, you do not necessarily have the power to install council members yourself, but we can negotiate with the rest of the council. I'm sure you have good reason. You did say that you had some connection with these harpies, correct? I take it they came through for you?
Well, they helped us defeat Salamander.
He
I
nods.
figured they should at least. I figured an alliance should be struck with them. But I don't think the council is going to have any say in whether or not she sits. Whoever ends up sitting on that throne is going to install her regardless.
He kind of brings his hands back together and he's kind of doing this thing. He's got like one hand balled in a fist, the other hand wrapped around it, and he's kind of like rubbing his thumbs together. And it's like it takes him a moment. He's stuck on this harpy council member thing a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he's like, wait a moment. Whoever sits.
Yes, whoever sits on the throne.
And now he's considering that for a moment. He's like, are you considering people outside of your party?
I'll be honest with you. When I left, I had every intention of sitting on that chair myself. Now I'm not so sure. There's a... I mean, anybody could be Emperor of Eden, but not anybody can be Evelina Milo, the 2 times Godslayer.
A smile like tugs on the corner of his lips a little bit, and then reins it in. And you know how Elrond goes from just completely smooth skin to like 17 forehead wrinkles?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of going on right now. You just like see your father's face scrunching up as he considers what's going to happen. And your father's like a planner and likes
Actually,
stability.
I had just the person in mind. There's this woman who runs the... What was the name of the tavern? Seth?
Seth has been eating, and he just like coughs and has to like clear his throat. He's like, like holds his chest, and he looks at you, and he's like, I don't remember. Good waffles. And he-
Dear father, if it were up to you, who would you like to see sitting on the throne?
I think he sighs, and for a moment, like, thinking about something speculative instead of what's actually going to happen tomorrow, like, the wrinkles, like, his concentration, like, fades. Like, his stern expression relaxes a little bit. And he leans back, and he's like, I think I would... You can't really burn bones, can you? It doesn't work extremely well. It takes a lot of fire. I would dispose of it. You have an alchemist friend, right? Dissolve it in acid. Not open the can of worms, as it were.
Dispose of what? Salamander's head?
He nods. He looks at you and he's like, I don't believe that will be your course of action, but the threat is gone. The people's desire for an emperor should relax with his absence. Things will be more under control. I see no reason to shake things up.
Eve, like, scrunches her, like, it's like Eve's turn to scrunch her face up.
Yeah.
So you want us to go back to a time where she starts twirling her meat knife or like steak knife. You eh. She just slams the fucking knife on the table. You want us to go back to a time when the people who rule this city were okay to just murder the emperor?
He
And she's
looks over at you in surprise. I think he's okay. So he started to interrupt you. Like he raises his voice above yours, and starts to say like, "The devil I know," and then you say that, and he like stops and just looks at you, like kind of in shock.
Eve's just like panting, and she's like got the most furious look on her face, and she's like her like fists are trembling, and she like picks her hand up, and she's like, I'm sorry.
He
I don't take back what I said though.
is he like kind of.
I'm gonna look over at Seth. Did you know?
Seth like is looking shocked and wildly between you two, and just like holds up his hands and shakes his head. Holds his hands in front of him, shakes his head. It's like, not. I have no idea what you're talking about.
And she's just gonna be like, did you know?
Still at Seth.
Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of like froze his brow, and now like the shock is going away. He's like, no. And then he kind of like looks at your father. And your father is like looks from you kind of like to windows and then back to you and quietly is like, do you have any proof? Or is this a girl's speculation?
Just answer me one thing. Were you the one who did it?
There's your father is very good at controlling his outward expression. And like putting on the face. And there is a flash of just anger that like crosses his face, and then it's gone. And he says, like a very controlled tone, he's like, Adam was stability for Eden. I would never.
Can you do a sense motive for me?
Yeah.
And this would be the one point in the campaign that I would use all the hero points I have to try and reroll it if it's bad.
Okay. Let's see. That is just diplomacy, yeah? Wait, no.
No, it's perception.
Right.
I have a 10.
Right.
I have a 10 on perception.
Don't you have the feat that lets you use your deception?
Oh, I do. I have
Okay.
the feat lie to me. You can use deception. It's a plus
Okay,
14.
so 4 higher. Okay. So yeah, that's a 24. Before I tell you the results, I'll let you decide whether you want to.
I rolled a 10.
Yeah, you rolled.
If I re-roll, do I have
Dang
to take
even.
the lower, or do I just take whatever?
Hero points are the second roll always.
Okay. I'll take the 24.
Okay. Yeah, no, he seems to be being sincere, and for a second he seems hurt, but you kind of like doubt. Your dad's good at the face, as we just said.
Yeah.
So.
I'm gonna turn towards Seth. Somebody on the council killed Adam. It wasn't this whole natural causes thing. The man's been alive for what, 1,000, 2,000, 12,000 years? And he just suddenly dies of natural causes? He looked younger than both of you.
Yeah. Seth adjusts in his seat and like looks at. Well, I think he's still looking at you, and he's like, "How do you?" Yes, but they say he lost his immortality.
Eve takes the amulet out from underneath her thing and tosses it to him.
He looks down at it, and eyes wide. And I think again, like your father looks around, just generally, and like takes it, like grabs it.
Don't
Like-
lay a finger on it.
He does
That's
not listen.
not
He
yours.
doesn't pull it to himself. He like slides it back across the table towards you, and like shoots you, like almost a chiding look. And then he says, like, "So you were closer than dance partners with our dear Emperor Adam?"
Who was it?
I don't know.
You owe me that much.
I don't know. If I knew, he would be hung.
I don't believe you. And I will see the whole council dissolved before I let a single one of those council members sit on that fucking chair. I don't care about... At this point, all I care about is finding whoever the man or woman who did this is. And, like, she takes out her own dagger and sticking this through their throat myself. I don't care how many people I have to kill to get there.
I think he looks at you, and again, like the face is kind of not holding up very well.
And she's like, and trust me, I've had a lot of practice at this point.
He says, "Someone who cares more for revenge for one man than the well-being of the entire city should not sit on that throne." And he's like, closes his mouth, doesn't say anything else, but you can tell that his teeth are, his jaw is just like locked. And then,
Well, I hate to break it to you, but that one man was the only thing keeping this city together. Nobody likes you. Nobody likes the council.
as they rightly shouldn't, I suspect.
Why do you think people followed Salamander? I got to talk to his followers. They were just normal people, well, and goblins and bugbears.
Oh my god.
But they were normal, but they were angry at us. They were angry at our city. They were angry at the council. The council is evil.
The council is the only thing holding this city together. Especially
see about that
now with
co-
Adam
we'll-
gone.
We'll see about that come tomorrow. What was the
Ye-
name of that innkeeper? Maybe I'll pay her a visit later tonight, giving a scowl at my father.
Seth is sitting there, shocked. This is a heavier conversation than he expected tonight. And I think he looks between the two of you and, like, belatedly realizing the question is even there. He's like, I still don't know, I'm afraid.
I'm leaving. I have to have one last drink with my friends before whatever brewing storm comes tomorrow.
I think your father
But,
opens his mouth to say something and just closes it again and is like looking at the wine glass in front of him.
As I'm like packing up my stuff to leave, I like grab my like bag of holding that's like in the foyer and just like turn around and call out. I swear on Adam's grave, if I find out that you know who it was, I don't care for blood. I will come after you, Father.
So, I think he looks at you, and I don't think you see this. You can make a perception check if you want, but the camera sees just like the stone face turn to just like actual hurt as soon as your back is like turned. And yeah, the camera like comes back in the room, and he just sighs, and tension kind of eases from his shoulders as he reaches for the line as like as we see Seth like lean back and just like eyes wide. And he like slowly stands up and he's like, I'll go check in at the barracks. And yeah. Do we want another scene with the party before we end? How do we want-
Eva's just gonna go rejoin the party basically.
Okay. Yeah.
Basically like asking. I don't. She's gonna ask around the cavalcade and whatever, and then
Right, yeah.
at the hanged whatever, and like check around a bunch of taverns, and then if there's like no information, be like, well, at least I can go check in on Ben Griff.
Right. Well, and like the thing about Solus is, if you ask where Solus was, like, it's like a weird like 7 degrees of separation thing. If you ask like 5 times, someone is gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I heard he was," and then like jam their thumb in the direction of Solus. So like, yeah, you're able to find your way to. And I think you also know that Ben Griff was like staying at Solus's house, so you're able to find your way there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, after I can't find the party at all, just be like, well, I guess I'll go check in on Ben Griff.
Yeah.
Stories I have to tell.
And the inn that Ludwig usually stays at is empty, you know.
Right.
There's a room checked
Yeah,
out for
right, yeah,
him.
With an open window.
Right. We might see you.
Oh yeah,
How are you gonna close
yeah.
it?
I literally like pick the lock and everything.
Yeah.
Have you
You-
seen a goblin?
it's like
I pick
knock
the lock
knock.
and be like, Ludwig never leaves this window open.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
says it spoils all the chemicals.
Right. Definitely. Yeah.
There's less Blevin feces here than I expect.
All right. So Solus, are you at your house when Eve arrives, or are you still you're like?
Yeah, I'm probably like running back because
Okay, yeah.
Baba like lives pretty close.
Yeah, and it took me a while to like go through all of that.
Okay.
During
Yeah.
this entire time, was Sonus able to leave Solus's house? I wasn't sure because
give me
of
a
the...
raw.
Let's see if you
give me
guys
just a
can
flat 20.
remember the sigil smile.
Yeah, give me a flat. A
Solus's
flat
door
20.
does not
Uh,
have a lock.
Okay, yeah. So you're able to, if you want, you're able to like wake Ben Griff, and he will like kind of stumbles over, and he's able to draw the sigil and unlock the door for you.
yeah, I think Sonus would then, kind of while waiting and everything, he would just be not doing much. So Sonus would go and leave, and he would go to the local pub.
Sure.
He would go to the lesser one, the one that's like
Oops.
not as well kept.
The Dark Horse or
And-
whatever it was called.
Yeah. And can I roll a underworld check to try and kind of do the same thing as I did in whatever town it was that is before Salamander's place? Like, listen, can I find someone, some underground person with information to talk to?
Yeah. You can try to roll for it.
Ooh, I'm gonna reroll that.
Okay. Oh, I was bad about giving away hero points this session. That's my bad.
Yeah, come on, please.
Yeah, you're able to find like a connection, but they don't have a like. It's gonna be a lot more rumors than info. But yeah, you can go find this connection. What are you trying to find out?
So I'm trying to see. some general information on the council like members,
Okay.
but Sonus is curious of now that he's back, he's reestablished a focus on like Calvin. And
Sure.
Sonus is trying to figure out, because during his time in the Darters,
Mhm.
he never really saw he didn't see Calvin use anything more than kind of just like his basic weapons. And so
Yeah.
Sonus is trying to figure out if there is possibly some connection to like the sand elementals and the sand golems,
Okay.
or if he has any information on anyone in town.
Let's see. Yeah. So like.
Also,
couple
before
of
before I get
people-
into this, how much like gold did we get from the whole thing with like Salamander and whatnot? What was divvied out?
Oh, I actually don't know.
You should have about 250 more gold at least, roughly.
cool.
That's not quite the number, but it's about that.
Okay.
And then some more silver and some more copper.
I think we worked out the exact numbers in Roll20 if we want to check that later.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's your roll? 18? I don't think you get too much there. It's like, yeah, it's people that like, people that were annoying to the council ended up like dead. And sometimes there was like sand found at the scene. And usually their throats were slit and like no murder weapon was found.
Can I? Is there either some other check I can do, or just off of this check, to kind of get a time frame as to when it started happening? Like,
Oh, like it's kind of a long time ago, actually. Like
Sonus is just trying to get like
since
time
before
range to-
since before you were in jail.
Okay.
But just like real spread out, and some people have like noted these incidents and been like, it's a conspiracy, man. Silencing the opposition, man. I think the information broker you found talks like that.
Okay. Cool. Very
And, like
fitting.
in the middle of your conversation with him, I think the server comes over and is like, you haven't paid for any of your meal. Can you can you pay for the bill? And like starts harassing the guy you're talking to. And he like looks at you. He's like,
yeah, so instead of paying the guy for the information,
yeah.
Sonus is just going to pay for his meal
Oh,
and like toss an extra, I'll say like 5 gold.
Yeah.
And just be like, there you go.
I think he puts up like a once you pay for it, he like sits there and he waits for payment. Do you just like stand up and leave? Curious. Just curious.
What was he trying to get me to pay him, I guess?
I think he was trying to scalp you a bit. I think he was like 50 gold. 50 gold for the best news in town, dude.
Sonus is going to So this is going to stand up and start walking away.
Okay.
And how does this guy, like, does he respond in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, well, I think he like raises his hand. He's like, "Hey, wait, you didn't." And he kind of like
As
looks
as
at the
he's doing
plates
that,
and he's like,
Sonus-
He just waves at you.
Well, as he's doing that, Sonus is going to, like, turn around and like slam his sword down in front of the guy.
Yeah, I'll
I'm
jump
going
and
for
like grab the arm of the chair.
Yeah, I'm going for
Okay.
intimidation, and Sonus is like, if you want any more than what I paid you, you're going to have to give me better information.
So, okay, yeah, give me the intimidate check. Yeah, he like cowers in his chair. He's like, "It's all I got, man. It's all I got."
And then
I gave you the-
Sonus would
the
be
word.
like, then tell me like someone who can give me more information.
Look, man, someone told me this was easy work. I'd sit around bars and I listen to rumors, and that's all I heard. There's a, he thinks real hard. He's like, there's a banker that's inflating his interest rates and saying it's town rate and getting skimming off the top. But that's all I got, man. That's all I got. Oh, and maybe some rivals of that brass fellow they were seeing coming back in town today. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. And you're like raises his eyebrows and you're like, that's good, right?
Sonus will literally like lay down like 10 silver and then leave.
I like look at it and I'll shrug. He'll go back to sipping his bad ale.